All right, we are here when we want to talk about how to build an effective hitting program. So, what I've got here is a document that outlines several key aspects of what I believe is crucial aspects of the swing and really the overall fundamentals of what you want to get out of hitting. And this could be you could scale this down to a youth player as far as maybe a 6, 7, 8 year old, 9 year old kid, all the way through Little League. You could scale it a little bit down probably for middle school, but they can do most of these drills. And obviously, a high school roller could take all of these drills and should be able to perform them at some level, if not go above and beyond and add your own twist to it. But let's go over what I have here. So I break hitting down into several different things when you're trying to construct the total aspect of the swing as far as taking it to competition. The first thing up here, I believe the first thing that you have to have before you build a swing, before you build an approach, you've got to have vision. You've got to be able to see the baseball. You've got to be able to see it out of his hand, out of the pitcher's hand. You've got to be able to see it all the way, have good tracking skills, pitch recognition, ball recognition, seam recognition, all the way to the plate. They say that hitting a baseball is the hardest thing in sports. There's no question of that. There's so many variables. There's so much that's out of your control, but there's also so much that you can work on with some drills that'll help you, mimic everything that you need to get out of your eyes and your hand-eye coordination as possible. So, you can see other videos that we will put out physically showing these drills, but just going over a few of them. Multiple ball soft toss, taking one or two balls, three balls, stacking them, and then having a number order 1, 2, 3 all the way down, and having the hitter hit the ball that you call out in the corresponding number. That's working on the eyes. That's working on hand-eye concentration and hand-eye coordination. It's a huge asset to have. Open hand, close hand drill. Basically, when you hit the ball, in soft toss wise, the thrower either has an open hand or a closed hand. Anything to get them to concentrate a little bit more and improve their vision. We go spin, no spin, soft toss. In other words, I'm going to almost throw a knuckleball just from the side, or I'm going to put a little bit of spin on it. Not only do the hitters have to be aware of what's coming, but I make my hitters verbally say out loud, when they're swinging, if they see spin or no spin. So they're having to, see the ball, pick up spin, no spin recognition, verbalize that to the tosser, and put a good swing on the baseball at the same time. We have colored balls for short toss, colored balls for soft toss. In other words, we have baseballs that have dots on them, different colors. There may be a green and a red dot on there on one side. Red dot on one side, blue dot on the other, green dot on one side, maybe a black dot on the other. They have to call out the color that they hit when they strike the baseball. Tracking bullpens is outstanding. Probably nothing better than standing in the off season or in season to get that pitch recognition, see ball out of a hand for the pitcher. We do it a lot. There is a little bit of risk of injury if you're going to throw a high school kid or middle school kid that doesn't have a good feel for command of the zone. That may be a project, so I would be careful there. But the risk is definitely worth the reward, because there's nothing like seeing a live pitcher, one of their peers on the mound, issuing the ball to the plate so they can pick up recognition. So quick hands, we have a quick hands, quick eye white tube. I'll show you. It's basically a piece of PVC angled into the strike zone that the hitter doesn't get a chance to see the ball coming out of it. It sneaks up on them really fast. They've got to really pay attention and use those eyes, use those hands to try to put a good swing on the baseball. Next, we have explosive drills. Explosion, obviously huge if you want to hit with any power in baseball, with any thump. We've got a variety of drills that we work on for explosion. Again, this isn't anything to do with the swing path. We've gone from pitch recognition to we just want to be explosive through the baseball. As a young player or as a middle school player, we definitely want to focus on swing fundamentals. We'll get that in a second, but the bottom line is, the old saying goes, see it and hit it. Swing hard in case you hit it. If we can be explosive on a pitch that we see, which is vision, put a good explosive swing of some kind and we run into it, we're going to do damage. So we really want to work on having a good explosive swing. You can read through these. We've got a backhand catch drill again. We plan on putting out something later to show you a physical demonstration of all these. A torque drill that I love. Uphill tee drill. I love our donut hitting and our weighted bat progression that we do. We've got a few toys called the hitting jacket. You may have seen them various weights. I believe we've got 4 different weights. We have a progression that we do to really gain wrist strength, gain explosive strength for our batters, for our hitters. I can't wait to show you get that, but that's definitely working on explosion. Any kind of medicine ball work that you do to get the hips going, overload those hips and to drive through the baseball, finish the swing, producing explosive movements on the baseball was great. Uh, Big balls, bag, a punching bag. You probably seen that. You can get one offline for cheap, one that you just want to hit with a baseball bat. Same concept if you guys have got a tire, you've seen it kind of the old school, put a post through a tire, hit through it, and it's obviously going to stop your bat, and you've got to try to drive through the tire. Same concept. All those are great for developing explosion through our swing. Then we go to what I think is actually one of the most underrated aspects of hitting that people actually work on, which is balance and timing. You'll hear hitters, being coached to time it up, time it up. What are you going to do to practice timing it up? Anybody can time up BP, but you've really got to do a few things above and beyond to practice real game like timing, and it's tough. It's one of the toughest things to simulate and practice. So, without actually seeing a live pitcher, you've got to, put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Try to be comfortable being uncomfortable, practicing your timing. One of those, and you may have seen it, is a great drill is a tennis ball drill. You get a batting cage or any kind of hard surface. You're going to bounce the ball one time, or sometimes some people go twice. As long as you can get a good thrower and make it cross the strike zone, that hitter, your initial tendency is going to be on that front foot when the ball hits the ground. Then it elevates to the strike zone, and your whole goal is to stay back in a manner that you can hit it just like it came out of his hand. You're working on an unusual timing sequence that's going to make you stay on that back leg. Hopefully you can keep your chest behind the baseball, and we can time up that BP pitcher with those tennis balls. For young players especially, I'm not so big into this for high school, but young players, I love getting them on a tire, a big tire. If they've got balance issues, sometimes for really small kids, the 6, 7 year olds, a regular size tire is a big tire. If you do soft toss, front toss, tee work off tires, that'll promote great balance. If you've got a kid that's, the classic stepping in the bucket, stepping out, maybe you put their front foot in a small tire or both their feet, as long as they can still, get around and have a little bit of foot movement, but still promote, a good direction towards the baseball, that'd be fine too. For the older, maybe high school, maybe middle school, I love balance beam. You get a 4x4 and you have a hitter, hit off a balance beam and he can achieve that balance through the whole swing. Off a 4x4 or maybe a 6x6, whatever you have, I think that is great for promoting balance through the swing. Again, back to the timing. A lot of people can't afford simulators, and that's fine. Okay, they're really expensive. You can make a homemade simulator, and we've got one at our place, and maybe I'll get a chance to put it on a video and show you. This is nothing more than a projector that you can get anywhere and hooked up to a computer. Go to YouTube and just Google, pitchers throwing bullpens or major league bullpens, and you can get the views like almost like an umpire has, which is simulating you being in a batter's box, and you can all of a sudden be hitting off Clayton Kershaw or Steven Strasburg or anybody throwing a pin, and you can work on your load. You can work on seeing ball out of hand. You can even work on picking up different types of pitches, pitch recognition. It's a great, I guess, homemade, cheap version of a $20,000 simulator you could buy. Anything to train your eyes, to train your brain, to get a little bit of edge on your opponent, we will take. So that's a great idea for you. And one of the biggest places you get timing, whether it's BP or in game, is obviously what you're going to do on deck. So the next time you go and you're taking BP on the field, and Johnny, your partner, is hitting, and you're next, what are you doing? Are you just sitting there watching how far he can see the ball go? Or are you trying to time your load up off that BP pitcher, off your coach? We preach that in the game. Your at bat starts well before you get in the box. Okay, when you're on deck in the game, I'm not a really big fan of you getting loose or you working on your swing. If you're thinking about swing fundamentals, during the game, we're probably not doing something right in practice. We want that muscle memory to take over. On deck in a game, what you should be doing is really bearing down and getting your load right, getting your timing right off that pitcher. It's the same concept in batting practice. If your coach is throwing you BP, we should have no timing issue as far as getting our load when we get in the batter's box against them, whether you're getting 5 swings or 1 swing. We should already have that down by the time we get in the box. And those mental habits, they will translate to the game and help you have a little bit better success. There's enough external variables during the game that are out of your control. Control the things that you can control. Okay, knowing when to load and seeing the ball out of the pitcher's hand, during the game. If you figure that out on deck or in the hole or in the dugout, that's going to lead to one more thing that you don't have to worry about once you get in the box and enhance your comfort level and again give you a leg up on hopefully producing for your team. So then